Alright, what is going on, guys? This is Danny. We are back at another appliance issue, another issue with the house. So today, of course, you know, in the last video, fixed the ice maker here on this LG. Now we have this LG gas stove that is throwing a F-09 code. So what's interesting is the, let me kind of go over here. Apologize for this being a little dirty here, but so there's two options when you use this gas stove. There's the broil version, which is just like, you know, the flames that come out on the bottom. That works perfectly fine. The bake version, when I turn it on, that's when I get the error code. The burners on the top all work except for the bake version. We know that the gas works because obviously the gas goes in here, it ignites, you know, over here. So this whole portion, I believe it works. So what I did was I took out the panel. The panel was really easy. I'll show you guys real quick here. So this panel here in the back. So what I'm doing is I'm taking everything apart and I'm testing every component to see what works and what doesn't. So that panel there literally is just like a screw here, 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 and here. There, there, there. This one here, and along here there's just a bunch of screws. And then also the center piece here, there's like a little center housing. I had a screw here, here, and there's like one below here. And that was it. Oh, I'm sorry. And then there is like one that sits right here, and there was another one that sat right there in the middle frame, and then that one as well. You remove all those screws, you pull out that panel comes off, then you're exposed with all this. So, I wanted to show you guys here. You'll definitely need one of these meters here. Set it to ohms, right? Like a resistance. You're basically testing each of these components to make sure they work. So all you have to do is you take, you know, one of these prongs here, and also before you actually start this, make sure it's unplugged. Step one. This is gas, so all I did was I opened this. There's a valve over there. Flip it. You see that? It's flipped, so there's no gas flowing into this, just in case if you ignite it by accident or, you know, there's a leak or whatever. So be careful there. Make sure it's unplugged. Make sure the gas is off. So that's step one. You're gonna go through here and you're basically going to take each of these end connectors here. I'm actually only do this one here because it's a little bit easier for me to reach with one hand and the camera. You just touch one end terminal here, and then what you'll see is you'll see a value. If there's a value that shows up on here, that means the component's working. So what I did was I tested this, tested that, tested this, right? So and if you can't reach them, like just, you know, just go ahead and disconnect it, and just remember, you know, which one goes to which. Blue went to here, this one went to here. And the thing is, if you forget or you're easily going to forget, just take a picture of it. That's the easiest way, to be honest, to remember. Go ahead and take one of these, touch this guy here, and touch this guy here. You get a value, right? It means this thing's working, this component is working, and you can go ahead, put that back in, and that's checked. Check this was fine, and then I went ahead and checked this guy up here, and I got no signal. And I just did one of these things here, right? Nothing. That means this thing is dead. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it apart, and whatever this thing is here, I'm gonna search it in Google, see what this is in a little bit here. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out and test it again to make sure it's dead. If it's dead, I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. There's a screw here, and there's just two screws here that holds this bracket in place here. Slide this bad boy out and then unscrew them, and then we'll see what we'll need to do from here. I went ahead and took pictures of these wires and also these wires here already, just because it looks like that's what's going to be needed to remove that. So I took this component out to do a little bit further testing, and I had my settings right here to continuity, which is this low setting here, and actually testing this with other resistance here. So when I tested on the continuity, it didn't register anything, but because this component, it actually requires higher, you actually have to turn it up. And actually when it's turned up, it actually picks up something, so we know now that we can rule out that this actually works. I also took out the oven temperature sensor here to go ahead and test it, just because it was kind of sticking like this and I couldn't really probe it. So I went ahead and took it out, and actually I'm going to probe it on the reverse side here. And again, I did not know this, but testing it throughout the range, if you don't have a reading on the continuity, go ahead and change it. I went ahead and changed it to the 2K. So at the 2K setting, we actually pick up something 1000, so we know that now these two components definitely work for sure. So pretty much we can rule out these two components, and we have to now go up and actually check the PCB board to see if there's any issues there. Alright, so I put everything back together since these checked out. Per the instruction, if you can't find the instruction, it's like attached somewhere here in the back. If you have an F-09 error, I just basically went down this list here and checked everything, and pretty much everything checked out. And the very last step said if you can't find any problems, replace the controller PC board, which is this guy up here. And this is what I was testing or trying to test earlier, and really you can't get it's probably the relay. This is the relay to the bake, and these two control the broil, but I was trying to test some of these back here, and in order to really test them, you need to get power to them, and even when you get power to them, you kind of have to test it to see if it actually opens up correctly and whatnot. So I've narrowed everything down. I think it's probably the board, something, or with the relay, and I'm gonna go ahead and order this board. This board was pretty much the same price. I believe it was around like 60 or 70 bucks. This one we wrote out already. This was also 60 bucks. And then the sensor here, the oven sensor, was about 50 bucks. So all these components are fairly cheap. And if you buy these components separately, I'm guessing it's gonna be even cheaper. But I really can't diagnose this relay to make sure that it is the relay and replaced it. Once you even diagnose that, you have to unsolder these and kind of be really precise. I don't have the little tools to do that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and order this board. The board comes with everything, and all you have to do is unplug these wires here and replug them back into the new board, and we'll see if that is the actual fix for it. So I'll have to wait until the board comes in. Alright, so the board came in here. So this is the board. I got the board here. The exact same board, hopefully. I actually looked at all the numbers. The numbers actually check out. They're the same board. And I'm thinking that this doesn't work here. And I'm going to go ahead and just swap this out. It should be an easy swap. I'm going to show you guys real quick how to remove it. There's only two screws. That screw right there. And there's a screw right here. Remove that. And then there is just these little clips here. You just have to push that clip up here and the board will come out. You need actually two hands for this, so I'm going to put this camera down in a second here. And once you have that out, you just basically disconnect each of these wires here that go to each component and go ahead and plug it back in. The only one that you have to be careful with is this right here. I think there's, yeah, both of these are white. You can be confusing. This side's red, this side's brown. So just remember that, and this is yellow down here. Best way is to take a picture to make sure you know where you know all the wires. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna put this camera down real quick, swap everything, and then turn the camera back on real quick. Alright, so I swapped in the new board here, going in the front. I'm gonna apologize for it being messy. We're still at 100, but the good sign is we see life and it's hot. Yes, it's heating up. So it turns out, after doing all the checks, again, you should definitely do all the checks in these areas, making sure everything works. If everything works, it's going to be your board, and I highly suspect it was this relay here to the bake unit. This is the broil relay, and this one probably crapped out. And I'm pretty sure we could have just bought this and, you know, soldered it in, but again, the soldering is pretty precise in the back there, and I didn't really have a good solder. I have a soldering tool, but it's not really good. But went ahead and swapped it, and it fixed. Look at that, it's going up in ramp, it's going up in temperature. It fixed the F-09 error codes. That's how you would troubleshoot that there. There's not a lot of YouTube videos or even like articles explaining what to do, but again, there's like a little diagram looking thing here. Actually, this one helped out really well. You should definitely, it's like on the back here, grab this. There's different error codes, go through it, and literally it shows you all the steps. And the very last thing that you Can't find anything, replace the board. And that's what we did, replace the board after everything checked out, and it worked. Alright, hope this helps you guys. Peace.